Choosing the right preschool for your child is an important decision. Of course, you want them to have a safe place to play, but equally important is the right environment to help their overall development. And joining us again is Dr. Elanna Yalow, CEO of KinderCare Early Learning Programs. And Dr. Yalow, I'm so glad you're back for part 2 of this series. And remind our audience why early learning and development and looking for that right place is so important.
And as we talked about last time, the child's early learning experiences really set the stage for their success in school and later life. We know that 70% of brain development actually occurs before the time a child is even 3 years of age.
Wow.
It's so impressive. And what we also know is that there's now some long-term research that looks at the great benefits that children have if they've gone to high-quality early learning programs. They have higher high school graduation rates, more success in college, higher lifetime earnings, less contact with the criminal justice system, and there's some great new research that points out that they even have long-term health benefits if they've enrolled in high-quality early learning programs when they were just young children.
That really is remarkable, and since early learning experiences are so important, and what should parents be looking for?
The first thing parents need to know is that they feel right about the program. So
Sure.
They are the best judges of what's going to be best for their child and their family. But there are some things that we really encourage parents to look for in a high-quality program. The first is the quality of the interactions between the teachers and the children. That is so important to helping young children develop. And we also want to make sure that they are highly qualified and really engaged teachers that have the right professional development to support their ongoing skills. We also want to have an intentional, developmentally appropriate curriculum to make sure that the activities are right for the children. And then we look at the classroom environment. Is it safe and secure and welcoming? We also love to talk about having a language-rich or a literacy-rich environment. That means there should be lots of books, and those books should be available to the children at all times, or labeling on the shelves, or examples of the children's writing, whether it's just early scribbles or early letter formation. And one of the most important things is there's strong family relationships. We really, really want our families to be our partners.
You know, I would imagine that it's really important for the staff to listen to the family. Can you talk more about the communication you think you should see between the staff and the family?
That's such a great question. You know, it used to be that we talked about kind of family communication. What that used to mean was that we told our parents what the children were experiencing in our centers, but we really think much more broadly now about what that means. We want to have a two-way communication with our parents. It's just as important that we know what the child is experiencing at home as it is for the parent to hear about what the child is experiencing in our programs, so that there's really that continuity of the child between the experiences that they have in our schools and at home. And we're so committed to working on our family partnerships that we've partnered with the Gallup organization to measure our parents' family engagement twice a year. That's really the emotional connection between what our parents are feeling and how they're feeling about the center. And the measure that we use and care about the most is a question that says, I cannot imagine a world without KinderCare. So you can imagine we've set a very high bar for what family engagement really looks like.
You certainly have. And talk about KinderCare. Should children be allowed to play, or should parents be more concerned with them being prepared to enter school?
You know, that's a great question. So many parents ask that. What's interesting is that it really is a false distinction between playing and learning for very young children. For the young child, it should feel playful and just they should be having fun and just really be enjoying their experiences. But from our teacher's point of view, it should be intentional. They should really know what it is they hope the children are going to be learning and what they're going to be developing while they're in our KinderCare programs. And so there's some things that we really look for to make sure that they're experiencing that in our curriculum. We focus on language and literacy. We focus on cognitive development. We focus on social development and physical development. Certainly the creative arts are an important part of our programs. And then there's another area called executive function, which we could do a whole segment on. That's a really important part of an early child's experiences.
You know, I can see evaluating your child's needs is really important, but we shouldn't be choosing like a KinderCare or somewhere to go that's close to work or close to home. That should not be the basis of why we choose. Is that correct?
Absolutely not. There's so many different programs, and again, the most important thing is to pick a program that feels right to you and your child. So that means when you're picking a center, what you really need to do is invest a lot of time in it. You should ask a lot of questions. You should visit the center. You should revisit it. bring your child, spend as much time as you need, spend time with the teachers and talk to the center director. It really is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make for your child's life.
That's for sure. Great information. Thank you so much, Doctor. And I can't wait for part 3 of this. It's going to be great.
Oh, Julie, thank you so much for having me here.
All right, you want to learn more, check us out at thebalancingact.com or log on to Facebook /The Balancing Act Fans.